Students, welcome to Social Studies class. How are you all? Keeping fine? Do you start study different subjects? Take care of you. Be healthy at home. Students, we already started the chapter 2, the expansion of British power in India. Expansion means make it bigger, extend the country, make it large. So the British people, how did they make their power over India? We were discussing, and we have seen that at first they came to India as a traders. Then they asked permission to make the trade. They got permission from the Queen Elizabeth I in the year 1600. After getting the charter, they make their trade. Then they started to keep the factories near the coastal areas. Why? Because the coastal area means the transportation was easy for them. Not only the English East India Company, other European countries also trade with India. Because they have seen the goods wealth of our country. They have taken the goods from our country very low prices, and in their own country they sold it in higher places. So higher prices, they are selling the goods and they got very good profits from our country. So each of the factories, they were tried to fortify themselves. Then they asked permission to fortify the factory, more armies in their factory. So after getting permission to keep the armies, what did they do? They kept more than they needed. Then we see the Anglo-French rivalry. The fighting together with the excellent merchants. Merchants means the traders. Who were they? French and English people. So we have seen they fight each other nearly 20 years. At last, French came to an end. This was the way for the Britishers keep their footholds in our country. Up to here already we have seen, and also we see that mainly 3 Mughal emperors were ruling our country. Murshid Qali Khan, Shujauddin and Alivardi Khan. They also demand for keeping the custom duty. You study the custom duty means what it is. Exporting and importing, they want to pay some money for the home country. They should pay money for in our country, but they were not willing to give for us this country. Then exporting and importing, already you know that is exporting means the production in our home country we are making and selling to other country. Import means we are receiving the production from other countries. So exporting or importing, they have to pay the custom duty. When they are not paying that money, when the time of Siraj-ud-Dawla, at the time 1756, they were planning to remove him from the office. That is why the next war take place. 1757, we could see the war take place, Battle of Plassey. When the Battle of Plassey, Mir Jafar did not take part in the battle and he did not help. That is why Siraj-ud-Dawla defeated. So the Britishers, they make next Nawab Mir Jafar. But Mir Jafar was only puppet in the hands of the Britishers. They asked more money for everything. The new Nawab rewarded the company by granting it the right to collect revenue of the districts of Burdwan, Midnapur and Chittagong. So he has given another power, that is they can collect the revenue from the districts. Mir Qasim tried to free himself from the British control. He dismissed the court officials favored the British, and he also abolished the duties on internal trade so that both Indian merchants and English together can trade equal terms. But this was unacceptable to the British merchants and it ended their trade monopoly. Hence, adversely, what did they do? The British now decided to dispose Mir Qasim. Battle of Buxar, 1764. Mir Qasim, after defeating by the Britishers, he joined the armies with Shuja Uddaula and the Nawab of Awadh, Shah Alam II. They joined their armies. And 22 October 1764, the war take place. They fight each other and they defeated. Now, a treaty was signed and Shah Alam II granted the company the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. So, Shuja Uddaula has to pay more money for them. So, what it shows, Battle of Buxar was showing the weaknesses of Indian army. So, the Nawabs of Awadh, Bengal, Mughal emperors become dependent on English East India Company. Now all political powers control over them. Next, British control over Bengal. But what did they do? They play a dual government, double government. That means, on the other hand, the Nawab had all responsibility but no power and no stable source of income. In the country, the responsibility has to take the rulers, Mughal emperors, but the payment all as collected by the Britishers. The people of Bengal suffered immensely under this system. The dual system of government in Bengal ended in 1772. Bengal was brought under the direct control of the company. Bengal was under the direct control of the company. The new Governor General Warren Hastings now decided to expand British influence in other parts of India. Now already they have got an idea that how, and they learn about the Indians, and now they understood in which way they can conquer India, different parts of India. Now at their hands, at present, the big powers are Mysore and Maratha. So next we can see the Anglo-Mysore wars. Next, they kept their eye upon the big powers of Mysore and Maratha. In Mysore, Anglo-Mysore wars, 1761 to 1782, Hyder Ali and his son Tipu Sultan, 1780-1799. So they were very strong and they keep up the powers in ruling system. Tipu in particular did not want to British to trade this region. The Mysore, there was a different kinds of trade, especially for the spices were available. One thing we can see, that is the Tipu Sultan more close with the French people. That is why the Britishers, they did not like. That is why between 1766 and 1799, 4 wars were fought between Mysore and British. In 1799, during the course of the 4th Anglo-Mysore War, the British defeated Tipu Sultan. So here also we can see the British take power. Next, they can keep their eye on the Maratha power. The Marathas had become weak after their defeat in the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761. The Peshwa was head of the Maratha Confederacy. The British and Maratha fought 3 wars. Here also we can see that the Third Anglo-Maratha War 1817 to 1819 destroyed the Maratha power completely. So everywhere the British armies or British leaders, they could control over some part by other parts. Now we can see the British expansion 1798 to 1805. When we read the lesson, we can see there are 3 main policies they were put in practice. First one, we can see that mercantilism. Merchant means trade. Trade policy. First, we can see that the ender of our country was trading policy. Next, we can see that is subsidiary alliances. Subsidiary alliances means that we can see the Britishers are requesting to the Indian rulers, they have to take care of the military powers. It was introduced by Lord Wellesley. In this subsidiary alliance, we can see that any Indian ruler accepting the subsidiary, they have to keep the British forces within his or her control. The rulers could not make the payments. She or he had to keep them and take care of them. So what happens? The Indian rulers in their hands, they could not keep this much armies for their equipment, their food and other trading or trainings. They could not do. That is why they became the hand of the Britishers. The rulers could not make the payments, then she or he had to give the territory to the Britishers. The condition was that those who are introducing or those who are signing the subsidiary alliance, they have to take care of the military power, the army, and they take care of them. Suppose they could not have the money, they have to give back their territory to the Britishers. The British expansion or British power expanded rapidly from 1805 to 1848 in India as well as the Southeast Asia. The British conquered Java and Sumatra from Dutch. So next we can see that is they are annexing the Punjab. Punjab was still an independent kingdom. It was ruled by Maharaja Ranjit Singh. He was little bit friendly with them. That is why they suddenly did not attack these forts. As long as he was alive, the British did not interfere into affairs of the kingdom. After the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh in 1839, there was a struggle for power. In 1843, Dalip Singh, son of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, succeeded to the throne. The British defeated him and annexed Punjab in 1849. So Punjab also annexed, added to British power. we have seen that the Britishers take more rules and policies put forward to annex their kingdom. British power. Next we can see that is Lord Dalhousie is making other policy, that's doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse means we can see in India there was dynasty system. Father is ruling the country. After the authority, the ruling the country was the son. Suppose there is no male heir, that territory want to hand over to the British rulers. That policy is known as doctrine of lapse. So such a way some other states also join. Satara, Nagpur, Jhansi and many other kingdoms under the doctrines of lapse. So we can see once again the Britishers expanded the power in India. At first they kept a good army system and strengthened their factories and they fortified themselves. After Anglo-French rivalry, they got a strengthened. This was the inspiration for them again fight with next Nawabs and replacing them and keeping them and make them like a puppet and take the political powers after defeating Siraj Udawla and the battle of Buxar defeated. So all these places they take more power over India. When we are weak, there is a chance for other power to come. This we are seeing in the British power in India. Other topic we will discuss next class.